Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, June 24th. Hey, we're going to be joined by Tom, Gentry, Lee, and we're going to hear from Josh Herron one way or the other. We'll be right back with what the guys have to say about putting a few more fish in your boat, on the end of your line, or on your stringer. We'll be right back. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, June 24th. We are joined by our good friend Lee Pitts on the phone. He's up practicing for an Alabama Bass Trail tournament at Wheeler Lake, but we're going to talk a little Neely Henry and Weiss. Let's touch on Neely Henry. We both fished the Coosa River Team Trail last week. I don't know about you, but I caught a lot of fish in the grass. Just didn't find the big ones. What about you, Lee?
The same thing with me. It's and that says a lot for Neely Henry. It's a good fishery. And you can look at the weights on that, and you can tell they got big ones that live there too. The first place 21 pounds, and it gets them down third place is 19. That's strong right there. And just like you said, caught a lot of fish. I stayed in the grass most of the day, and I kind of, just to keep it honest, I bounced back and forth and even went out wide and threw some jigs out there offshore. Did a little bit of deep cranking and still caught fish out there, but they were all the same size. Just never could really pinpoint the right stretches where those big ones were laying. I think a lot of the guys went to some wood cover. I went downriver and wasted a lot of the morning catching small fish, catching enough fish to stay there. I was flipping a little creature bait, throwing some top water. And even pitching a jig in that grass and getting bit, but just couldn't get the size I needed. The water was down a little lower downriver, and I think some of those fish pulled out on wood cover, got on these shallow docks, and some of the brush piles. It's one of those things. I kind of got caught up still getting bit and just stayed with it too long.
Yeah, I know myself and Art from Spear Point Hooks. I caught a bunch on the Missile Baits Chunky D. He caught some on a frog. I even caught some on a mini flip jig from Missile Baits as well, but the same thing as you. Sounds to me like if you find brim around docks, that's what the fish are responding to, because that's what Wes Logan, who finished third, told me, and his uncle Kenny Parnell won it. All right, let's turn to Weiss Lake real quick in the last 55 seconds. Tell me what's going on at Weiss.
Weiss is still strong right now. It's a lot of the guys are still catching them in the grass. I had trips Tuesday and Wednesday there with some guys, and we stayed in there with frogs and just more or less kind of swimming a jig a little bit. Some guys that weren't real comfortable with grass fishing, and I was trying to introduce it to them. And we caught some good fish and caught some good size, even in that foot and a half of water, which we had some cloud cover, early in the week and a little bit of wind. But those fish are still holding shallow on Weiss. Got some good quality fish in the grass. Some fish are starting to get out there deeper, but just like you said, you can fish that grass, and when the sun pops up, find these boat docks that's got a little bit of cover around it, maybe some harder bottoms with those bluegill around, and that's where those old big females, they're eating up before they go out there to eat.
Lee, as always, brother, we appreciate it. Have a great time on Wheeler this weekend at the Alabama Bass Trail, and we'll talk to you again next week, brother.
All right, guys, y'all have a good weekend.
Buenos dias, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for June 24th. Hey, we're joined by Josh Herron, who's on a business trip down there below the border. Josh, I know you've been fishing a little bit before you left on your business trip. What's going on down there at Logan Martin and Lay Lake these days?
Pontoon boats. Plethoras of pontoon boats. Man, if you are a wake surfer, it is the place to be. If you are a bass fisherman, take your get along and your calm and steady. You're gonna need it. No, dude, fish are biting when you just got to get used to bouncing up and down.
Yep.
A lot. Fish are kind of they're doing their summer deal like full time now. It's hot, it's muggy. This week we got a little break in the weather. So, but no, you still run around in the mornings, kind of the standard Logan Martin deal. You can fish shallow in the mornings when boat traffic will allow it, and then it gets a little sporty. You got to kind of move out there and dodge.
The early bite, is it a move thing, or are you still having to kind of go in at them? I know Neely Henry, there was grass bite, there was a dock bite going on. Is that the same type of thing you're seeing there, or can you move a lot?
Yeah, no, you can move a ton at Logan, and it's the same deal with Neely right now. Logan, water's up, water's in the grass. You can run around, you catch a bunch of fish swimming a jig. You catch a bunch of fish flipping really shallow docks. So there's a lot of fish kind of all over the board right now. I think we still got some fish hanging around from the recent mayfly hatch. So you can still run around in the mornings. You can throw popper, you can swim a jig, get bit, and then you kind of settle into the grind and start fishing some more main lake docks, that shaky head junk that people like to do, and
Yep.
just try to be home by noon, probably about 11:30.
Lay Lake's going to be a little bit different because there's a lot more wood out there. Is that something you can target at Lay?
Yeah, absolutely. Those fish will get they get out in the standing timber this time of year, and they kind of suspend. And they get on bait out in that river. But like anywhere else on the Coosa, current is king this time of year.
Yes.
So if it is, if you check your generation schedule and you don't have any flow, that's a really good time to go look shallow. And when they fire the water off, it's time to get out there where the current is.
Josh, as always, brother, we appreciate everything. Safe travels, and we'll talk to you again next week, sir. Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, June 24th. We are joined by our Guntersville master, Tom Ott. Tom, what's happening up there on that big old lake in the sky?
Well, I've been mastering some things, I guess, maybe. I don't know. It's not catching a lot of fish, not mastering the big fish right now. But, I tell you, Dano, we're still catching upwards of, 30 to 50 fish in a trip. Played around with the grass a little bit more. I think, maybe learned a lesson in tournament fishing that, the bigger fish are definitely out on the ledge. And again, not to say that you can't go up shallow and catch a couple of big fish. There's plenty there. But I think, to consistently catch those 5+ pound fish, you're going to need to be out somewhere on the channel. But, it's just Guntersville is so strong right now. It's unbelievable. I haven't seen that much hydrilla in a long time. That's changing a lot of things. The way the fish are positioning, especially in the grassy areas. When you get 9-10 foot of grass or water with grass in it, I mean, the fish are just kind of stacking up. A jig seems to be a fantastic bait right now. We caught quite a few last weekend. Had some big crawdads that were thrown up in the live well. But a green pumpkin jig seems like, whether it be a football jig and you're out there on the ledges, or whether you're throwing a grass jig and you're up there, a little bit shallower. But I think right now the best depths are going to be between that 6 to 15 foot of water. Anywhere that you got grass, hard bottom, and especially where you got grass meeting hard bottom, that's going to be a ticket. I will say that the flipping bite is really starting to pick up. So punching and flipping bite's starting to pick up. A man can go out there and catch quite a few fish doing that and just have a good time, really.
Sounds like it might be a good time to get out there and avoid a few boats. Let's talk about the crappie a little bit. Are you seeing crappie, brim? Are you still seeing anything out there?
Yeah, there's a lot of brim that were up shallow, and those fish have started to kind of move off your breaks and your 8 foot of water and sitting, but they're still wadded up. I think you can catch a lot of brim. But I will say this about the crappie. We talked last week. I told you I hadn't seen much. I've heard that there's a few biting around the bridges, but I've seen personally out there in about 18 to 20 foot of water on some stumps on the river ledge, I've seen some big groups of crappies stacked up. So, I think you'd have to change your tactics a little bit because that's pretty deep. But, I mean, there's some big fish out there. I think that would be exactly how I'd go do it, or maybe even look at the bluff walls.
Well, Tom, as always, brother, we appreciate it, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, guys, tight lines. Be safe out there. We'll talk to you soon.
Good morning, everyone. This is Dan O'Sullivan with your Bucks Island Area Fishing Report for Saturday, June 24th. Hey, we're joined by Gentry Gordy, who's going to talk a little bit of Lake Martin and Jordan Lake. Hey, let's start at Jordan. What are you hearing out of that?
Jordan is, of course, it's raining. It's always raining down here, it seems like. But, Dano, I've heard and I've witnessed it. A walking bait it's like the water just got to a magical temperature. But those main lake are just inside of your creek, like the good seawalls, the concrete wood seawalls. Man, they're eating a top water plug, into the afternoon. Especially if you can find some grass right around some of them seawalls, which, Jordan's got that. It's a fun bite. And there's some quality fish up there, spots and largemouth that are doing it. Your grass bite is still there, punching your big waves. The grass is getting thicker. I have talked to one friend of mine that on the little bit scattered grass, pitching a jig to it, just a just a regular arky jig, not necessarily swimming a jig, but just pitching a jig to it. And I think that's just because it's a little bit different. A lot of people use your smaller plastics with a big weight. So anytime you can change it up a little bit, offer them something different, I think it goes a long way.
So the topwater bite that you're talking about, is it an all day thing, or is it kind of in the mornings and maybe in the evenings, or is it all day?
Well, it depends. It depends on the weather. If it stays cloudy all day, yeah, you can absolutely catch them doing it all day. And now it's not furious, you know what I mean? But if you can lock it in your hand on a cloudy day with a little breeze, it's surprisingly the quality of fish that'll you might fish an hour with 2 bites, but the 2 bites are worth the hour's wait.
I got you. So it's a tournament tactic, not necessarily just a fun fish tactic. All right, let's go to Lake Martin. Tell me what you're hearing down there.
Oh, it's just Martin's getting tougher and tougher every week, Dano, with the boat traffic and the heat. Those spots and stuff, they're getting deeper and deeper. If I was going to Martin, I hadn't been in a week or 2, but if I was going up there, I would really, really look at a Carolina rig on your deeper drop, where it may come off of 10 foot, but you get that sloping down into deep water, kind of gives those fish an area to, move up, move down as the bait. If you can, if you have the ability to graph it and see bait somewhere out there on those drops, a swim bait, stuff like that, if you've got the patience to slow it down. But, you can have a lot of fun, catch a lot of fish up there on a Carolina rig.
Well, that sounds like fun. I appreciate it there, Gentry. We will talk to you again next week.
Yes, sir. Y'all have fun. Take care.
Well, that'll do it for your Bucks Island area fishing report for Saturday, June 24th. Thanks to the guys for helping us put a few more fish in the boat. Hey, don't forget, come on by Bucks Island. We got what you need, whether it's the new boat, whether it's a bass boat, aluminum boat, or a pontoon. We've got it on the lot. Can put you on the water really quickly. We got the parts to keep your boat running. We got the service department to help you do the same. And, of course, if you're looking for that tackle item that you want to put in the water to catch a few more fish, we've got that upstairs in the loft. Thanks for spending the time with us. As always, we appreciate you. You are family and the best part of Bucks Island, and we'll talk to you again next week.